We have two entry-level smartphones right here, which are the Samsung A03 and the Tecno Pova Neo. So if you were to choose your poison, what should be the deciding factor? Should we go with the features, price, power, or the brand itself? Mabuhay Manila, this is Jacob, and this is our comparison video of the Tecno Pova Neo and the Samsung A03. As I mentioned earlier, they are both entry-level smartphones under 6,000 pesos. The Tecno Pova Neo is priced at 5,299 pesos for the 4GB of memory, 64GB of storage. And the Samsung A03 is priced at 5,490 pesos for the 3GB of memory and 32GB of storage. With that very little price difference, what will you get and what won't you get? Let's start with the design. Design is subjective. They both have a line or a textured finish, with the Samsung A03 having cross pattern lines while the Pova Neo has a slant one. Tecno Pova Neo also has a different pattern that aligns with the camera module that has the text of Tecno Pova. They are both made out of plastic and also add extra grip to the hand. The camera module of the Pova Neo is larger compared to Samsung's A03, but Samsung's camera module is a bit more protruded than the Tecno Pova Neo, but that is not big of a deal. Their weight is not far from each other, with Tecno Pova weighing about 205 grams while the Samsung A03 weighs 196 grams. They both have a dual nano SIM slot and a dedicated slot for their expandable storage. As for the buttons and ports, everything is pretty much identical, and the only difference is that Tecno Pova Neo comes with a rear-mounted fingerprint scanner while Samsung A03 doesn't have one. Also, the Tecno Pova Neo has a splash-resistant feature. Switching to their front, they both have a dewdrop notch, with Samsung A03 hosting a 5MP front camera while Tecno has an 8MP. Now as for the display, they both have an HD Plus resolution, but Pova Neo has a larger 6.8-inch IPS display while Samsung A03 only has 6.5 inches with a PLS TFT panel. They both have almost the same PPI density, but in terms of build, they both have a not so slim bezel and slightly thick chin. Tecno Pova Neo has a small advantage in terms of color, since it is a bit boosted and sharp compared to the Samsung, which looks a bit pale. It also doesn't have color settings in the display options to adjust the color vibrance to your liking, which is quite a bummer. Now moving forward to their camera, both are equipped with a dual camera setup. Tecno Pova Neo has a 13MP f2.2 rear along with an unspecified secondary camera, while according to Antutu, Samsung A03 only has a 12MP rear along with the same unspecified sensor. All output photos are already set to HDR mode. In this first sample image, Tecno Pova Neo outputs a crisp image but it lacks details due to the deep shadows, while Samsung A03 outputs a brighter image but also lacks details, but instead of shadows, we get a soft result. In this next sample image, both are sharp and detailed, but again we get the same deep shadows on the Pova Neo, while the Samsung has a decent output. Now on the third sample image, Samsung has a pale and soft output, while Tecno Pova Neo outputs sharp, crispy, and true-to-life colors. You can see the difference if we zoom in on the subject. The skin tone of the Samsung A03 is a bit pinkish. Taking a close-up shot with their main sensor, if it's a quick snap, Samsung A03 is having a hard time locking onto its subject even if you tap the screen to focus, while Tecno Pova Neo instantly focuses on its subject and snaps a sharp and detailed result. As for the night photography, both devices don't offer a night mode feature, but taking pictures with a decent light source at night is pretty good for Tecno Pova Neo. Still, both image outputs noisy and soft results. Capturing on a different angle, Samsung balances the exposure better, resulting in a detailed light bulb. Colors are also warm and decent to the eye compared to Tecno Pova Neo. Closing in on subjects, images on Samsung now outputs a warm tone, while Pova Neo still carries the actual mood of the scene. Capturing with x4 zoom, as you can see, the results of A03's x4 is noisy while the Pova Neo is soft. Moving on to portrait, Samsung has a better bokeh effect, but the accuracy of its subject to background separation is poor, especially in night photography. But taking photos in daytime, Tecno Pova Neo outputs a sharp image, a good subject to background separation but lacks some bokeh effect. Moving forward to their selfies, on Samsung A03, images are a bit underexposed, while for Tecno, it outputs a true-to-life skin tone, great details, and enhanced colors on the overall image. Greens are sharp and detailed for Tecno, while for Samsung, we have deep blacks and deep shadows, and a soft background as well. As for the video recording, both can shoot 1080p at 30fps. Samsung has more color distribution compared to Tecno Pova Neo. Exposure is fine on Tecno Pova, but for Samsung, it is quite balanced. As for additional features, Samsung comes with pretty much the standard features that come with a regular entry-level smartphone, while for Tecno Pova Neo, comes with tons of options to play with for your photo and video trips. Overall, the natural look, sharpness, and details go to Tecno Pova Neo, while balanced exposure goes to Samsung. But if you are looking to play more with their camera, Tecno offers more features. Now as for their performance, we did a gaming review for the Tecno Pova Neo. If you haven't watched that, we will put it on the link in the description box. They are not the best budget smartphones in the market, but comparing them alone, the Tecno Pova Neo is equipped with a MediaTek Helio G25, while Samsung is equipped with a Unisoc UMS 9230. Both have a 12nm process with 4GB of RAM, 64GB of storage for Tecno Pova Neo, while the unit that Samsung sent us only has 3GB of RAM and 8GB of storage. So pretty much we can't compare the gaming experience since the 8GB of storage is already occupied with 4GB of Samsung system. We can't even install Antutu 3D benchmarks, so no benchmarks as well. Well, that is too bad since we want to fully understand or see which of these two phones can really deliver performance value in terms of their prices. Now moving forward to their sound quality, they both have a single down-firing speaker located at the bottom of the device. The Tecno Pova Neo is louder compared to the Samsung A03, but it gets a bit distorted at max volume. But if you level the sound of Tecno Pova Neo to Samsung A03, they pretty much boast the same quality. Now moving forward to their battery, Tecno Pova Neo is packed with a larger 6000 mAh of battery, while Samsung A03 only has a 5000 mAh of battery. Here are the results. As for their charging, Tecno Pova Neo took 2 hours and 20 minutes to juice up from 0 to 100%, while Samsung A03 took about 2 hours and 50 minutes to fully juice up. So another point for Tecno Pova Neo. Well, at the end of the day, for the price under 6,000, both phones are pretty much a solid choice. Although, we can't vouch for Samsung as of now since the review unit that they gave us lacks some storage, so we can test out some benchmarks that we want to try out. So in terms of this device that we are holding, the Tecno Pova Neo is the better choice for an entry-level smartphones since it is cheaper and does perform pretty well. Maybe one day Samsung send us an actual unit that does carry the actual specs of the said unit that they are selling. Then we might be able to determine if Tecno can really outperform Samsung. So that is our comparison of the Tecno Pova Neo versus the Samsung A03. Which one would you prefer? Let us know in the comment section below, and thank you guys for watching, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you will be updated with our future contents. Also, don't forget to visit manilashaker.com for more tech news, reviews, and comparison of the latest device. Once again, this is Jacob, and mabuhay, Manila.